What will further the self-illumination of the world? In this question is our aim and guiding criterion in the making of the Cosmic History Chronicles. When we began decoding the information for the 7-volume Cosmic History Chronicles 5 years ago, we had no idea in what way this information would evolve us, and to what new perceptions it would take us. Cosmic history is an imprint that we receive by being open to the synchronic order and the vistas of the law of time. The Cosmic History Chronicles are not an encyclopedia, but a cosmic point of view. There is nothing this point of view does not encompass. While the first 2 volumes laid a certain ground and defined the nature of the universe in a scientific manner, this 3rd volume enters into a whole other dimension of reality, the artistic dimension. Just as there is cosmic science, so there is cosmic art. Cosmic art involves uninhibited exploration of the imaginal realm. There are no answers that one can expect, except for the unexpected. While a scientist investigates and formally defines the laws of nature based on external observation, the artist begins from within and then externalizes the actual expressions of the laws or principles of nature that science discovers. This is a radical difference in method, purpose, and state of consciousness. The artist in many ways is intrinsically enlightened through the method of pulling from within the manifestations and expressions of universal laws. Art is a principal aspect of the process of cosmic evolution, and fulfillment through art is the purpose of spiritual growth and consciousness. How can cosmic art or cosmic history be introduced without shattering conventional perceptions and normative values? It can't. This book is the result of pursuing a cosmic perspective, and using that lens to redefine art and contemporary culture as we have come to know it. The result of our surrendering to the higher imprints of the method and system of cosmic history resulted in a continuously evolving description and definition of planetary life, culture, and the evolution of the planetary human. Everything tends toward ever greater synthesis. In the process of creating this volume during constant travel, we served as the secretaries to the Cosmic History Scriptor. We traveled across oceans and continents, and even on island where we landed, we moved from one place to another, experiencing dramatically different environments. We came to realize that it was the guiding force of cosmic history that moved us to these diverse environments to engage us in different aspects of the creation of this volume. The text unfurled in one particular ambience overlooking a majestic mountain range. This futuristic space felt like an outlet of the cybersphere, complete with a galactic viewing room like that of a UFO continuously hovering over a beautiful mountain lake. From this high-tech living environment, the majority of the text was sculpted. We were then swept into a radically different atmosphere, a remote and rustic cottage near great rocky cliffs and hauntingly timeless beaches. It was here, where the wind whistled through the windows, that the artistic production took place. The rustic cottage was transformed into an art factory, and one collage or drawing after another surged forth in an engaging artistic volley. Many of the graphic works were joint collaborations. It seemed that much of the artistic work was the translation into visual form of a higher music brought forth by the evocation of great images and chords of the artist's lost planet annals. As it turned out, the memory of the lost planets became the focalizing point of the diverse information strands that we encountered. From the reverberant sound of the lost chord emanating from those shattered worlds, came the globally encompassing rhythms of rock and roll. From the point of view of cosmic history, there is no local horizon or judgment, only a planetary whole system vision. Rock and roll is cosmic history. Most people do not consider this, but then most have not cultivated an extraterrestrial or interdimensional perception of what a planet is, nor of planetary events as whole systems within a larger cosmic context. Seen from above, the cycle of historical materialism is the unfolding of an ever more complex matrix of information and sensory exfoliation. Rock and roll is the soundtrack to the conclusion of the cycle of historical materialism. To those still immersed in conditioned belief systems, the emergence of different cultural, spiritual, and artistic horizons are a function of a medium of intelligence so vast that it is often imperceptible. Nonetheless, we continuously experience phenomena such as television, internet, video games, and pervasive experiences like the everywhereness of rock and roll. Through travels, two cultural observations became clear: the increasing omnipresence of the cybersphere and the universal factor of rock and roll. It seemed everyone, everywhere, was on cell phones. Russians on cell phones, Mexicans on cell phones, Americans on cell phones, Turks on cell phones. People everywhere, even in mid-conversation, dutifully answering their cell phones. And if they're not talking on their cell phones while walking or driving, they are using their cell phones to access the internet, text message, navigate with GPS, or take pictures. Laptops are also widely used in public places by people all over the planet. In airports, people often sit on the floor glued to their laptops. Internet cafes pervade nearly every village, even in third world countries, making the global village an actual reality. iPods are also everywhere and have become a permanent fixture for many joggers or people walking down the streets or riding public transportation, whether it is in Argentina, Japan, or Australia. Likewise, in nearly every country, rock and roll or some derivative style that has arisen in its wake, pop, punk, disco, hip-hop, techno, etc., was heard as the background texture playing in virtually every public domain, from supermarkets to subway stations and everything in between. Whether it be an all-day Beatles marathon played on a radio station in Mexico, rave music blaring in a coffee shop in Japan, the Grateful Dead coming through a car stereo in Holland, Joni Mitchell played over the phone while on hold for customer service in the United States, Pink Floyd blaring in a New Zealand business office, a mixtape of the 70s, 80s music playing in an Iraqi van while driving from Amman, Jordan to Baghdad. Rock and roll is the sound texture of our world today. We live in this sound like goldfish in water. The point became clear. Rock and roll in its many permutations is the universal planetary art form, the soundtrack of our planet. Most take it for granted. Volume 3 explores the cosmic origins of the resonance and messages contained in the music, tracing back to the lost chord. These are not just categorizations of pop culture or media visions, but large protrusions into our reality of cosmic perturbations, to which we later attach titles like pop art or rock and roll. Those who might have looked down on rock and roll as art form had better look up. Extraterrestrial intelligence uses many means to communicate. The arrangement of the different themes in Volume 3 creates a musical structure. The first two parts of this volume, art as cosmic harmony and art as a dimensional bridge, build to a crescendo in Chapter 6. Chapter 1 introduces us to the imaginal realm and the origin of images, foreshadowing themes elucidated throughout the book. Chapter 2 gives an overview of the imaginal realm as the origin of art, and includes a brief history of art forms as they have evolved on this planet. This lays the foundation and creates the lens for viewing new cosmic art forms. Chapter 3 explores the entire universe as a self-creating art form. This chapter touches on form, perception, culture, and mythic structures, tracing back to the imaginal realm. Just as the universe self-creates, so does the human. This is the theme of Chapter 4, Self-Creation of the Artist. This chapter addresses the theme of becoming your own work of art, and cites examples of those who have achieved mythic stature through self-creation. This leads to the pivotal Chapter 5, Lost Planet Annals and Pink Floyd, which explores Volume 3's focalizing theme of music, particularly rock and roll and the lost chord. This chapter closes by acknowledging the artistic medium of digital technologies, which paves the way for Chapter 6, Cybersphere and Identity Crisis. In this musical structure, Part 3, Art as the Practice of Life, is the slow movement in the symphony. Cosmic reflections fill the space where the previous drama had reverberated and echoed. Chapter 7, Mandala, Mystery of History, brings us back to the center, the source where forms and cycles are sprung. The next chapter, Dharma Art and Universal Aesthetic Norm, is highlighted by the theme of everyday magic, and describes how every seemingly mundane daily enactment is part of a cosmic process. Chapter 9 brings us back to the imaginal realm for a treatise on projection and visualization. Part 4, Transcendental Art, Evolving Cosmoplanetary Art Forms, crescendos into an ever higher synthesis of the whole, offering a complete new vision of reality. These final chapters explore persistent cultural metaphors, models of new communities, and the crystallization of the cosmic art whole. These themes paint a vision that is necessarily artistic and cosmic, and can only be comprehended by surrendering to the imaginal realm. If you can rest in the imaginal realm, where the imagination provides not only answers, but access to other universes, then you will find a logical resonance with the utopian vision of the cosmic cube and the planetary art spore, the fulfillment of the vision toward which the future of rock and roll originally pointed.